Hello, folks. This is KW Wayne from DSR Chats. There's going to be a program change on this channel. I wanted to turn this channel into a sports channel, but I'm going to tell you why I can't do that. And the reason is, back in the 90s, the leagues began to change, and they began to put people in the presidency and into the other positions in the main offices that were people that had different ideas about how to grow a league and how to make a league flourish as far as making annual amounts of money for each owner. Excuse me. Well, what happened is that the league began to identify teams that were the teams that had the number one, were going to be able to afford the better players and be able to literally sell more sports memorabilia because of the fact that they had the big stars on those teams. And what it was if you were from, say, a Los Angeles, a New York, Chicago, one of those big cities, you have more fans that follow your team. And more fans mean that more jerseys are sold, more hats are sold, and so on. I mean, it's just a fact. And if you're from a smaller team, say Pittsburgh or Detroit or whatever, I think Pittsburgh maybe has a million people. Detroit, I think, has 700,000 or 800,000 people, and that's it. So, you know, you're not talking about 10 or 12 million like Los Angeles, for example, or San Francisco. So those teams that are from the bigger cities are able to generate more profits from having the bigger stars and from selling more jerseys. And so in the 90s, this is when this all began to change. It was no longer a situation where the 1984 Detroit Tigers were going to win the World Series. Now it was going to be Los Angeles. It was going to be, you know, some team from New York or whatever. And that's just how the world was. And each owner was okay with this because with the profit sharing that they had agreed upon, every team was going to benefit each year from more profit, even though their team would lose. So it was probably 20 years ago, give or take a year or two. And I was watching the NBA Finals. And I used to watch basketball, football, baseball, hockey, whatever. I didn't care. But the team from the East was from a small town, and the team from the West was from a great big place. And the potential was maybe 10 times or 20 times better that team could sell more memorabilia. So what happened, the team from the East literally had no stars, but they had a group of really, really good ball players, and that was big. But unfortunately, that team with no stars was actually better than the team that had 2 or 3 stars. Well, toward the end of the second game of the series, the people who were on the announcers in the announcers booth were saying, you know, I'm really surprised that the NBA is allowing this team to win the championship. They're ahead 2-0. But the other team has all these stars, and this is the team that should win. Can you imagine the number of jerseys that they could sell just from those two players alone? It would more or less transform the amount of money that the Basketball Association made for the entire year. Well, that's what happened. The next 4 games, the team that had the better team with no stars began to foul, which they hadn't done all year, even in the playoffs. They began to double dribble and do all kinds of things on offense that was really bad. Now, I was actually filming this on VHS tapes because I liked to watch when there weren't games on. I liked to watch the tapes. And so even after the series was over and the big team from out west had won the championship 4-2, I was watching the games, and there was literally nothing happening. The team from the small city wasn't doing anything any different than the way they had done it. But the referees were now calling the game different. They were saying, oh, you double dribbled. Oh, you committed a foul. There was nothing there. Maybe it was close, but it wasn't close enough to actually be able to call it. But they did anyway. And the big team won. Well, the people that were running the small team were just as happy as the people who were running the big team that had won. And they didn't care that their team didn't win. What they were happy about is that they were making this amount of money from all of the sales of the jerseys rather than this amount of money that they would have made had their team won. And I thought that was a bunch of crap. And I tried to find places in those 4 games where that team had actually done all the things that the referees were saying they were doing. It wasn't there. So I realized that I didn't really feel that sports had any merit to it. There was no honesty there. And so I decided I could not watch sports. And so for the last 20, 22 years, whatever it's been, I quit watching sports. Now, I get excited over sports once in a while because I hear people like Micro Mike or Detroit Den 313 talking about sports, and I like to hear them talk about it. But I don't care to watch it myself. I'm not interested in sitting in front of a television set watching a game. You couldn't give me tickets to go to, I don't care, anywhere in the world to watch a sports event because I don't really care for sports anymore. That particular series told me all I needed to know is that sports was put up. They said years ago wrestling was put up. Well, I don't care what you say. Football is put up. Basketball is put up. Baseball, hockey, whatever it is. And they want to make the most amount of money each year. If they have invested in a team, they don't care what team wins. They don't care if their team loses in an event as long as they make more money. This amount of money doesn't do it for those owners, but this amount of money does it for those owners. And they care more about that than they do about their own team winning. I don't need that, and I'm not interested in that. So I cannot be a sports channel here, and I'm sorry. I tried to be. DSR was supposed to mean Detroit Sports Report, and I was going to chat about this, that, and the other. I can't get into it. I can't get excited about it. I just can't do it. So we're going to go back to the other things that we were doing on this channel. and hopefully people will begin to watch our channel again. If you don't, I'm sorry. We tried something and it just simply didn't work. But hopefully you will watch the show and give us a thumbs up, and hopefully we will get some subscriptions. Where it says subscribe down below, if you hit that, you're subscribed. It didn't cost you a dime, but it does help to get whatever information we have out to other people. You can also share our videos with other people, and you can also comment, because if we say something that maybe you like, who knows, maybe we'll be able to give you an answer that you're happy with. But at any rate, make sure that you have a good day. Good day, folks.